Welcome to Dicejunkies, and this is a review on Black Panther, and I'm with
Q.
And I'm Xenodamus. Hope you enjoy.
I believe that the actual debate came up. The question came up during our live stream of whether this was a must-see. I originally stated that it wasn't really mandatory if you wanted to go into Infinity Wars to see it. I think you had a different opinion on that.
Well, yeah, no, I definitely think. So if you're going to go see Infinity Wars, there's definitely a possibility that the things that happen in this movie could affect Infinity Wars. Now, on the other hand, you could watch this movie without seeing any other real Marvel, and it still be an enjoyable movie, and only like a few things you wouldn't understand the outlay meaning, but at the same time, none of it was required.
There's only about 3 references to other movies, and they're minor enough that you're probably only going to be confused about the Stinger at most if you haven't watched the others.
The Stinger was definitely the most tied in part, and that's always the point. That's sort of the point of the Stinger, is to set up the next movie.
There's one reference to Age of Ultron, and then there's a pre-clue toward the Stinger, and then there's the Stinger.
Yeah. So, well, there you go. So overall, I mean, what would you rate this movie as far as in the line of Marvel movies? There's been, so many now. Where would this fall?
Well, due to our kind of differing opinions, I'm going to throw out first that as an origin movie, top notch. This is easily one of the best origin movies. I put it up there easily with Iron Man, which is one of my other favorite origin movies. I mean, Iron Man, the first one was amazing. This one, definitely on par. Not exactly for the same reasons. It really matches up because it does some things better than Iron Man, but Iron Man beats it out in a few other categories. There's kind of we'll get into that a little bit more because we don't want to go too far into spoilers. But this movie is definitely on par with that. And Spider-Man Homecoming, if you consider that an origin movie. Though Spider-Man may be still my favorite. No, I'd say they're about tie.
Yeah, I'd put it about equal with Spider-Man and Iron Man. The only one that I would really maybe go more with was I was a fan of Doctor Strange. I like that origin movie.
I like Doctor Strange too. It's so odd to me. Doctor Strange, I have a hard time categorizing him in the same category because, unfortunately, us being gamers, I really do see his world as being so separate that I almost forget that he's a Marvel movie.
Well, it's also, we know the possibilities. We know the overarching distance that Strange eventually gets. And it does have, they're going to have to dial him back in a lot of cases, I think, to keep him in this universe.
Especially when you count in with stuff from Thor Ragnarok, like his tier.
Which, and that's the thing. They dialed back Thor and a lot of that. So.
He's up there, though, man. I won't spoil that movie, but he shows off a casual level of power by the point that Thor Ragnarok occurs that makes me think he could probably take out the whole Avengers team, which isn't exactly non-correct. Isn't that really out of context for who Doctor Strange is? But at the moment, he's up there where I could see him putting the whole team on their butts casually. Mm-hmm. So I have trouble sometimes weighing him in. But as an origin movie, oh man, that's a hard call.
Well, and the thing is too, you got to remember, Strange's power was always so much higher in his sanctum than outside of his sanctum.
That is true.
It's a completely different level at that point.
We can also go into his role. I mean, he's a sorcerer supreme. He's a protector for the whole freaking dimension. So that's why he's up there.
Yeah.
But to get back,
we're talking about Black Panther here.
Yeah, but as an origin movie, at least a tie with Doctor Strange. You're right. It's because I can't call it. But Doctor Strange is definitely right there above Iron Man and Spider-Man Homecoming for origin movie. And then Black Panther to me is a serious contender because it still has a few things it does better than Doctor Strange, but Cumberbatch is just so freaking amazing. But he is the main character that's amazing other than the Ancient One. Like, the other characters did not win me over as much as Cumberbatch and the Ancient One, which I can't remember the name of the actress, and I don't care. but you did a good job. So, but when you got two characters compared to like Black Panther's roster of every character was amazing, I had to at least put him at a tie because there's no character in Black Panther I did not love.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know, I mean, Black Panther. It was. Anyway, I mean, the movie was good. I definitely think it's a watch. If you're into the Marvel superheroes and all that, the universe, the MCU, there's absolutely no reason to go and see this one in theaters. I mean, it was well worth it.
Oh no, this is a must watch if you just want to see even a good superhero movie. If you don't know anything about Black Panther, they do a good job of staying fairly close to the canon. I was not upset with the direction they went with or even the changes they made. I felt like they were on par with what you can expect when somebody is doing this without ruining the source material at all.
All right, so I mean, do we have anything else to say before we get out of the spoilers area?
I can't really do it until we get out of spoilers.
I mean, a quick note for somebody who is afraid of there being pandering and stuff like that in the movie. I did not see it. Like all the political stuff that some people said, you know, this was a political statement and all that. I really didn't see that either. It was definitely political at times, but political in the MCU, not political. Like there is no.
Yeah, our boy Zeno went in looking for two things, to see if it was going to be pandering to the feminist concept that some people claim. Again, not because of him, it's because of reviews people did where they claimed that this movie was like an SJW feminist movie or that it was a anti-white black agenda movie. And he didn't see it, I didn't see it. Most of the political elements are too unique to the comic book universe. Like, you'd have to stretch, but we know how stupid some people will go, how stupidly far some people will go to try to make that. Mm-hmm. I mean, none of the situations politically in this would make sense for any real-world nation. Well, it's not Wakanda's in a unique position.
It's not just that either. As far as the ideas and the concepts that would be considered political, they actually did show multiple sides, multiple opinions, and, you know, yes, the leader came down to a decision of how they were going, you know, they would do it. But obviously they did not try to make any decision the ultimate right decision, you know.
Yeah, nobody's presented as all good or all evil. Nobody's presented as being all at fault. Wakanda's not a perfect nation. The rulers aren't perfect. No group is made to look worse than another. I mean,
as a matter of fact, it was nice to see that even though people had different opinions, nobody called somebody, you know, a horrible name just because they had a different opinion. They were just like, you know, well, I think this. And I was like, oh, well, that's awesome. You know, they're actually having discussion.
Yeah, and I mean, and in the end, they kind of decided, like, nobody's got all the answers.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. They kind of went like, no, nobody's got all the answers, man. So, I mean, getting out of the spoilers, I mean, say the non-spoiler section, ultimately, this movie will not offend you unless you seriously look for it. And even if you're looking for it, you're going to have to dig because we didn't see it and we went in looking for it.
Yeah, no, I definitely think you basically are making something offensive if you find this offensive.
Agreed.
You know. There's not going to be a movie that's not going to be offensive to you at this point. So
you're going to go see Peter Rabbit and be like, well, the rabbits clearly represent the minorities, and the mean old McGregor white faction is like stealing the food and taking their land. You know, you're just going to be on that.
I think somebody did make that movie.
I was joking.
Oh, yeah, no, man. I've seen some stuff.
You need to stop watching whatever you're seeing, man. And go check out some.
So from this point on, we're gonna hit into some spoilers. We're gonna let you know what we thought about individual scenes, stuff like that. So just being warned, if you don't want to get spoilers thrown at you, then
they get it. We're gonna ruin this movie. We're gonna go over everything, all the secrets, every crevice.
I don't think about it. I don't know if we're gonna do that, but
maybe you won't.
I don't think my perception check was that good. All right, so
Spoiler section.
yeah,
Bam.
spoilers. All right, so is there a particular scene in this movie that you would call out above all other scenes?
Man, there were a lot of good scenes. That's the biggest thing. Oh, okay. Man, the car chase scene was friggin' amazing, especially with our the war general. Which character's name? Can you grab her name for me? The war general. Like this is one of the main female characters. She's one of King T'Challa's top people.
Where is my IMDb?
And this young lady, well, I shouldn't say young. She's about middle, an older woman. She's a full-grown woman, but she was amazing, and her role was definitely pivotal in this movie. She's one of those characters that you see. Yeah, head of the.
I said it.
Danae Guerrera, it looks like, was bring that back up. She had her name. Her character was Okaye. I may be pronouncing it wrong, but she's the head of the Dora. It's like Malaji. I'm bad with my pronunciation, but they're basically the personal guard of T'Challa. She is an amazing character. She may be my favorite character in the whole movie. She is a strong female warrior character done right. The reason why is because you don't feel like she was put in there just to be a strong female character. She fits into the story.
Well, I mean, honestly, you look at her and you're going to think that anyway, because, I mean, she's also a strong female warrior on Walking Dead. You know, Michonne.
There you go. That says a lot.
Yeah.
But she doesn't. But in Walking Dead, even it kind of felt like, I don't know if she was in the graphic novel, but she kind of did feel a little plugged in for me. Like, oh, look, they put in this samurai to go like, look at this badass.
No. If you watch Walking Dead, you can. I think you definitely feel that she was not put in there. She has a good backstory and all that as well in there. So
I kind of cut out for they got deeper in her story. I've seen like when she first showed up in a few scenes, but I didn't go into
like everything about her makes sense once you get into her story.
But she feels like a natural role in here that I was left with nothing wanting. She is what I want to see more of. I want more female characters in these movies that have this presence, capability, this depth.
Like you said, though, I mean, she didn't feel like it. Definitely did not feel like she was forced in there. Didn't feel like it was a, and I hate to say it this way, like a feminine statement, because I mean, honestly, a feminine statement should just be, having good characters and not trying to push an agenda, but.
Because she earned all of my respect, and she's one of my favorite characters, and she did that because she didn't try to go, look at me!
Yeah.
Girl power! No, she was just like, I'm a warrior.
She was just awesome.
I'm a general. I am a competent person, and that is what she communicated to me.
Now, you mentioned the car chase scene and everything, and honestly, that scene is one of the scenes that actually bothered me. And so... Like I said, hopefully you've seen the movie if you're watching this. But in the car chase scene, this is they have all the vibranium car, the vibranium weapons. They're throwing all this stuff, which is getting blown up and scattered all over South Korea. She throws the spear to wreck that one car, and that spear just stays there. It's implanted in the ground, and they keep going.
I think she snagged on the way back because she had it in the next scene, and
I
looked
thought
like
she
had
was multiple spears. It looked like she grabbed another spear. I did not see her grab it.
She looked like she was leaning down, and I'm surprised they didn't show it. I said, is she going to grab her spear? And the way she leaned forward, I assumed that's what happened.
Maybe she did, but I mean, also you have the vibranium car that got exploded all over the place. And so my concern was they're leaving a lot of this... tech all over the place to be so secretive. And
given the way that car folded, I really want to think though that the vibranium was just a coating at best, because that car really went to pieces, and if it was a solid vibranium car, that wouldn't have occurred. So my assumption was that it was a coating of vibranium to make it bulletproof, because you saw what happened when he used that weapon on an actual full vibranium suit. It absorbed it and did not get damaged. So I was left thinking they probably put a coating on this vehicle. And for all we know, they retrieved it. I mean, they may have retrieved it. They were there. They working with the FBI. But what's cool about the scene is she's just badass. I mean, even the scene leading up to it in the casino, every one of her fight scenes was beautiful and left me with an incredible impression of this female character. So that was my favorite scene, though, because when she threw the spear, that was friggin' awesome. And even it finished when the car blew up and just the seat slid up, that was awesome. Definitely one of my highlights of the whole movie.
Cool. Dude, probably one of my most favorite scenes was when the rhino tribe come in with the big armor-plated rhinos and that end battle. And same girl, when she steps in front of that rhino
and stops it.
It just stops it.
Again, it's okay, but she's freaking awesome. All of her scenes are amazing.
And then it just licks her face, and the look she had on her face when it just licks her.
Well, of course, man. It knows her, and it's like, hey, it's you.
And she's like, God, why did I do that? Why did I stop? It's almost like she almost questioned why she just saved this dude's life because this thing licked her in the face.
I don't know. My whole thing is she was just looking like, even the rhino knows who's the boss bitch on this field. Yeah. Like, she represents, man. I love the character. I gotta admit, I'm so glad that we saw that when we went back to look at the Infinity trailer before we got on. I saw she was right there. I was like, oh, they know who to bring back. They knew that we wanted more of her, and she was running right alongside T'Challa. Oh God, I can't pronounce anything today. Black Panther in the Infinity trailer. I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. I mean, what did I tell you? Well, we're doing scenes, so. We'll get more into characters, but I actually mentioned something about that character.
Yeah, well, I mean, I mentioned my scene. You mentioned your scene. Let's talk about characters. Like what?
Well, we'll wrap up her since we've been talking about her. Yeah. One of the things that she really got me, and also the other female characters, that up until today when I saw this movie, I thought Wonder Woman was like the baddest female character I'd seen. I really liked her movie. Not so much the Justice League. Well, I almost want to call it Injustice for what it felt like. But the Justice League movie after that. But her original movie, I liked the character. But she got beat out, man. This woman pulls the Amazonian, warrior general so well that I was like, okay, this is now my favorite female warrior I've seen on the big screen in a while. She just pulled it off too well.
Yeah.
So, like, she's now replaced Wonder Woman as my favorite female warrior, especially because I don't feel like it was sold to me. I feel like I got won over because it felt legit. It felt like this was an experienced warrior, got where she needs to be, and it wasn't about her gender. And that's what's so cool. Well, it didn't feel like it was about her gender.
All right. Well, we've stuck on her for a good bit. Now we have Chadwick Boseman. He is Black Panther, our T'Challa. I thought he did a good job. I enjoyed him in that role.
He did an excellent job. He was exactly what I thought he'd be. Same thing you saw in the last movie. Same character.
Yeah.
Didn't wow me with it being like better than I expected, but it also wasn't worse. Yeah, no, he wasn't exactly what I expected.
Like, once again, he wasn't the guy who just stood out among all as the best character, but he was the main character, and he did a good job with that. So now Michael B. Jordan, the villain, I've got to vote for him as best MCU movie villain.
This got so good, he weighs in with the Netflix villains. He's at that level. I mean, first of all, excellent job. I was shocked. I remember I was like, man, he did way better job acting than I expected. And he put a lot of the villains from the other movies to shame by being doing a better job than these high A-listers that were hired to do some of the other villain roles. Eric Killmonger, his character, is friggin' awesome.
Well, I compare him to the Purple Man in the Jessica Jones series,
Cottonmouth.
You actually had in Cottonmouth, where you actually have this villain that has a backstory, has a sort of, you see where he's coming from, as far as being a villain. Like, I mean, he was wronged at some point in time. And yes, that's twisted him in a way that makes him the villain, but at the same time, you see where it's coming from. He's not evil for the name of being evil. And he's
motivated by the suffering. Like, he actually is not motivated by self-gain. The thing he's doing, other than his revenge story, is because he's like, we're suffering out there and we can make a difference. So it's amazing to see this villain who didn't really have completely negative intentions.
Well, not only that, but honestly, even though he was the bad guy and he did do it the wrong way, he is partially responsible for the attitude change of the nation to go and do outreach and stuff like that. So he almost was a villain that was sort of good. I mean, he caused good.
Right goals, or somewhat right goals, wrong methods. That was basically what it was all about. And I liked him. Good acting, good character. I mean, some of it, too, is he got a great role written for him, but we've seen well-written villains get screwed up. But he was on point with his acting, and the character he played was well-written. It was all good across the board. I believe that this is going to launch this guy's movie career to a new level, now that they've seen that he can pull this off.
Yeah, no, I mean, let's see. He has, I think he's in music and stuff like that. I can't remember exactly what all he's done.
Oh, Jesus. He played Johnny Storm in that Fantastic Four movie.
Oh,
he really
was he that guy? Game. Oh, my God.
So,
yeah,
wow.
You're right.
You know what? He did good enough in this movie. I'll redeem him. You were forgiven for Fantastic Four. Because, oh, my God.
I mean, he has such a different look from that movie.
When you want to, too. I wouldn't want to look like... I would want to also not be recognized for that movie. But he's shown his acting chops here. I liked it.
Yeah, no, like I said, he was a good character. Now, besides him, the next character on the IMDb list is Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah, she played Nakia, the love interest, but really, that's doing her a disjustice, or there was way more to her character than that. Beautiful young lady, and I mean, just an excellent role.
Oh yeah, and when she got serious, she was a badass too, man.
Again, another female character that was amazing in her role and did not feel like just the love interest. I said the love interest, but that's really not doing her justice. I apologize. There was more to her than that.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, she was the love interest too. That's, that's part of her role. So,
but top performance there too.
But yeah, she was really good. Like I said, I really can't point to an actor that I thought was necessarily bad. So you're gonna hear a lot of, oh yeah, that one had a good role. That one had. Now Martin Freeman,
he played Everett K. Ross.
Yeah, we've already seen him. We saw him in The Winter Soldier. Yeah, he was. He worked for the.
Yeah, he's one of the agents.
The agency.
I mean, if there was a character that I'd say was probably one of my least favorite characters that got a good bit of screen time, it would be this character. But that by no means means he was bad. Actually, I like the character. He's just not my most favorite, but he still was good. Like I said, there was no bad character. It's just he was a character at first, and I was kind of like, He had more to do in the movie than I expected, but in the end, I ended up enjoying him. So it's just like,
I thought he did really well in the movie. No reference to his days in the Hobbit Society at all. So,
oh yeah, apparently he's that guy. The guy.
Let's see, Daniel
Kaluuya played Wakabi.
Yeah, he was a douchebag.
His character was a douchebag, but still a good role in the movie. I mean, he did his role right. I liked him up until he showed he was a douchebag. As per, but there's always going to be that guy, and he's that guy.
Now this is one I was waiting for. This girl,
Letitia Wright, was awesome.
She did an excellent job, and she was a little bit of comic relief at times because she of all the group, she was probably the most influenced by Western.
She was the least traditional, which is commented on in the show. She was awesome. She plays as T'Kalla's sister. I tell you the name, but he's taking that off the screen. But she was fun. Shuri was really cool, and again, another female character, intelligent. No, she wasn't played as smarter than Tony.
Well, and the only time that came up is I think the director said when they were doing the direction for the character, that's how it was envisioned. But I don't think it came off that way. It just came off as this is a very intelligent young lady who has some great technology to work with and is doing great
But
things.
she's not overdone. I mean, she's a tech person. She's not played as like a super genius or smarter than anyone else. She just has access to higher tech, and she's been improving and modifying it.
Yeah.
But people that, but like the statement, oh, she's going to be like smarter than Tony Stark. No, she's not on Tony Stark's level.
I loved her enthusiasm to everything. Like, she was so excited about every scene she did, It was like, ooh, I get to drive.
What's that a road, Olivia?
Yeah.
She was fun in every scene she was in, but she also repped. Again, it repped, man. All of these characters repped well, and you just can't really ask for more than for each character to hold their role down. Let's see. Winston.
Duke, let's see.
Oh, yeah, I think he played the
M'Baku.
M'Baku. He was of that other tribe, the 5th tribe.
Yeah.
He lived in the mountains. He did good on his roles. He was funny later on and was an awesome character.
That was a tough mother.
Yeah, no joke, right? Reppin'. I mean, his character.
I didn't quite get the barking with his tribe, though. I mean,
I know some people probably upset, but really, they represent they're the ape tribe, and that wasn't barking. That was actually the call of
it reminded me of like DMX,
Yeah, they were doing something else, but I mean, it was in theme with the tribe, and again, they did pretty good with the canon. I like the fact that no character was one dimensional. Like, even him, at first you thought he was just going to be like, oh, we're just big bad guys. But actually he's like, no, I got some friggin' honor in some sense. So, I mean, they all held down a role. Angela Bassett was awesome as the queen.
Yeah. She was the...
I'm fairly sure, like... I don't remember the queen's name because they mainly called her the queen, but Ramonda, I believe she was playing our queen and the mother of T'Challa. And man, she really...
I'm not going to say because I just don't know. So...
I could be, I don't know, look at this. Look at the cast. That has to be... Well, click on Ramonda. Click on Ramonda name and we should see... Yeah, the queen.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You're right.
And seeing her, man, we should have had Angela Bassett play Storm back in the day. Like, she pulled it off. Like, watching her and this made me go like, oh, I wish the X-Men movies had her as Storm back in the day. Because she pulled off that regal and beautiful. Yeah. Even now, just beautiful.
Now, Forrest Whitaker, he was the only guy that he stood out a little bit to me. And it's just because he's such a recognizable actor that... I kept seeing all his different roles, and it was hard for me to separate
this
them.
role, but you are right.
Good,
he's
but I mean,
very recognizable.
Yeah,
like the second you see him, you're like, "Hey, it's Forrest Whitaker." Like that's the first thing you think. You get almost pulled out of the movie but that's not his fault. He's friggin' famous.
No, I'm not saying it was his fault or that he did a bad job. I'm just thinking, casting wise, it may not have needed as big of a name as Forrest Whitaker because it does pull you out some.
He when he's on screen, it's hard to not keep thinking of him as Forrest Whitaker. But he did his role well.
Oh yeah.
Spoilers, he dies. We said we're in the spoiler section.
But I mean, we've got a lot more characters here. Is there any character that you can think of that just stood out that you want to highlight?
Claw was hilarious, man. Andy Serkis was hilarious in this role, man. Claw is just an a-hole and loves being an a-hole. Like, he's such a celebratedly and joyful a-hole. He's like, I'm an ass and I'm loving being an ass.
Yeah, now he did have when they had him in interrogation, some of his lines were just great.
But this is a dude that mouthed off to Ultron in the other movies, so you can't even say he was out of character from his Ultron, because if you mouth off to the giant killer robot, you're not scared of the CIA or the FBI.
But I mean, unlike Michael B. Jordan's character, this is one of those characters that really is just an evil ass. You don't know enough about his backstory other than he's just
he's a dick. But he does try to go like, hey, you guys need to know what's going on over there in Wakanda, man. They got some stuff going on, man.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the last person I'll mention is John Caney, who played T'Chaka, the Black Panther's dad. He was awesome. I liked him then. He pulled off his scene way better than Odin. And like you felt his loss and the sentiment of the son that's lost without his father way better than you felt it when like they did that almost hand wave of Odin's death. I'll give that. Like when I was watching, I kept thinking this is way better than the father son moment from Thor Ragnarok.
Well, and the movie was a lot more serious than the previous than Thor for sure. This is definitely like and I mentioned this when I came out of the theater. I was like, it wasn't a huge action. I mean, it had some good action scenes, and the action scenes. I had several people I heard say that they weren't the best action scenes in the world. I thought they were pretty good. Like I didn't really notice enough to say they were bad at all.
Honestly, to me, when there was action scenes, they were amazing. I loved all of them. I mean, I will admit that the very, very final fight scene between T'Challa and Killmonger was not the best action scene in the movie. Honestly, the big battle outside was a little bit better. But at the same time, it wasn't a bad one. It's just the other ones were so good that the one-on-one, it's kind of a scale issue. The one-on-one, especially because you got two people fighting with almost the same set of abilities, which kind of was like not quite as exciting because it's like you got Black Panther versus Black Panther at that point. So it was like, okay, we all know how this is going to end. So, but the car chase, the duels, both of the duels were friggin' awesome to watch. I mean, it was a great movie. So, I mean, character-wise, the movie was excellent. We don't want to go on too long, but what do you got to say about the story?
The story, I mean, other than it was a pretty excellent story. The story part was definitely the antithesis of the movie. It was a story driven movie. Like I said, the action was not the point of this movie. It was definitely a story, and where the movie lacked in action, it definitely felt strong in story. From everything from the spiritual tenses of it, where he goes and sees the spirit of his father and talks to him, and all that I thought was really, really deep. You could
especially
feel
since it isn't just T'Challa that sees it.
Like we mentioned with the Thor Ragnarok, when Thor was talking to Odin,
wrong Skyfather.
Yeah. when Thor was talking to Odin, I didn't feel it. It was just like, whatever. It seemed like this wasn't that important. When Black Panther is in the spirit world talking to his father, you could feel that tension. You could feel that emotional moment.
Even one sentence, "Rise, you are a king," just had that boom. And when they both even had the scene. Remember, Thor saw his father a second time.
Yeah,
and so
did T'Challa. That's why I was comparing it to. Yeah,
even the second scene where he kind of confronts his father, the depth and intensity was so much better. Like it was
and just like we had mentioned in the pre-spoiler with the nobody's perfect, there was no 100% right side. That was there. He's like, look, I did what I thought was best for my country.
And he says you were all wrong. I mean, he like T'Challa really put his foot down, and that was the big difference. Even the bad guy. He doesn't just become the Black Panther. He has the vision, and he meets his dad. And that one was in depth when he was shown as a kid for a while, an adult.
Well, yeah, it kept phasing out of that,
Yeah, every ancestor,
how I see myself, how I was seen type thing.
And even his father's, I never took you to see. Like, there's just no... Every time they go to ancestral lands, the depth of the impact was very spiritual and was great for the story. And I really wish we could have got just a little bit of that. Like, I love Thor Ragnarok, but now I have to concede to Zeno and go, all right, you're right. Like, now that I've seen it done right, they could have taken a moment away from the comedy to put some effort into those scenes. Like, I'm almost disappointed how easy it was with a brand new character. Not even a third or second time of seeing these characters. They managed to get zero emotion out of it when they did it with these other major actors, high budget, third movie. and then these new folks come in and knock it out the park. It just kind of made me go like, maybe they didn't put enough effort into that. I know I got off subject, but I mean, it's just so you compare movies.
Yeah,
and I'll say that they could have done better, but they did it excellent here. But you're going for the story. I see 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb for the movie. I think that's a pretty good rating, especially because if you're not a Black Panther fan, then this movie might not be your best thing for you.
That is something we noticed. Coming out of the theater, several people going, "I didn't know that." And I almost wondered, like, did you see the trailer? But a lot of people didn't realize all the tech and all that stuff with Black Panther.
Yeah, we had at least 2 or 3 people going like, I didn't know all of that. They didn't seem as pleased with the movie because they didn't know anything about the character and apparently didn't expect it. I don't know why that would have been a big deal, but I'm not going to point out any unique things I noticed.
I can understand when you go in expecting one thing that's completely, and you get something completely different. And I do think this movie pulled in a lot of people that weren't necessarily MCU fans or comic book fans because of the context of the diversity, the black superhero and all that. There was a lot of fans that came just because this is almost a historical movie in the sense of the number of high budget cast of Black Americans and actors.
Oh yeah, there hasn't been a really good superhero movie, especially one that had such streams that resemble Africa and are based on an African style culture as well. Mm-hmm. For me though, most of the people I saw that were thrown off or didn't seem to enjoy the movie as much weren't those people that came for the diversity. They really seem to be people that just came to see a superhero movie and kind of, I guess they were expecting to get less of what they got, less Africa maybe, less of the actual Black Panther mythos, and that's what I saw. Most of the folks that were going like, I didn't expect all that. I thought he was more like just a black Batman or something, and it's like, or a black tribal dude. It's like, no, Dan, they have an advanced culture. He's a king of an actual country that has money and power and influence.
Well, and I mean, if all you ever saw was the crossovers that Black Panther did in other comics and not any of the actual Black Panther comics or, some of the more in-depth Doom and Black Panther crossovers and stuff where they went where they went into the actual country and you saw all that tech and stuff. If you just saw the crossovers where Black Panther showed up, he did sort of get played off as that.
Well, Wakanda was a secret. Like we both said that. We said if you watched Black Panther crossovers and guest starrings, you would not know about Wakanda because it was incredibly well hidden because Wakanda's a secret. So you had to have actually been a Black Panther fan to have not been surprised by what was going on. So I think a lot of people also went in and went like, where's this friggin' super country coming from? And it's like, it was a secret.
Yeah.
Surprise! Like, I'm surprised at the end they went with the direction of, we're going to let people know. I was like, that isn't what they did in any of the comics for a really long time. I think he was married to Storm before they finally, spoiler for the comics. He married Storm, dude.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
Hey, they're buying Fox. They're trying to get Fox.
Yeah.
And all that happens is that our wonderful little love interest has to have an accident. And and he has to cry on a Storm mutant's, weather patrolling mutant's shoulder.
All right. So anyway, that's our review for Black Panther. Like I said, I think it's a must see. It was an exciting, well written movie, done really well, and I enjoyed it. And I think that most everybody that is into super movies will. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, I'll throw this out there, too. I will say that I hope that the people who are doing Ms. Marvel's movie are watching the way this movie was done to see how you do female characters in a way that feels like it's supposed to. That it feels organic. It fits in the universe. It fits in the movie. It doesn't feel out of place.
It's still inspiring to women, but it's not isolating men, Yeah,
it doesn't get that anti-male vibe. It just feels like the baddest warriors in this friggin' tribe, they're women.
Yeah.
Honestly, I firmly believe that, was it Okayo or whatever? I think she could possibly kick T'Challa's butt, and I'm okay with that because she's friggin' awesome. I love her. So but that's what's cool about it is when you can make somebody go, this character's so awesome, I'm okay with them potentially being the baddest ass person in this movie. That's the way you need to do your female characters. Don't pander. Write a good character. Write a good story. Yeah. Now, before we go, we promised we'd do this. I reviewed the movie as a comic book fan. As a comic book movie, I will say that the movie is definitely Marvel gold. It's a good Marvel movie. You should see it. It easily matches the other origin movies in quality level. As a black minority fan, this is also an excellent movie if you were looking for a black superhero movie as well, especially because it doesn't alienate itself from the other movies. It stands on its own, but it also fits in the universe. So it's good on both scales, but it doesn't just fall into one or the other. It's a good comic book movie. It's a good black superhero movie. But it won't alienate people who didn't want to see a black superhero movie. Just wanted a comic book movie.
I think we said it needed to be a good superhero, a great superhero movie first, and a great black superhero movie second.
And I think
it pulled that off.
So we do say that this is good on both ends. You can see it regardless of what you're looking for. If it's one of those two, you're going to get what you want.
Yeah.
So go see it.
All right. And on that note, be sure to subscribe to Dicejunkies for any future content, and let us know down in the comments below what you thought. Did you like the movie? Did you see any flaws in it that you want to highlight, or what parts did you like about the movie? Drop them down below. Let us know, and thanks for watching.